Bill Burr has a monumentally stupid abortion take that right-wingers like Charlie Kirk are currently spreading around online as anti-abortion propaganda. Bill claims he's pro-choice, so I'm going to take a shit on him. Bill likes to fancy himself as a bit of a truth teller, a comedian that drops uncomfortable truth bombs, and he seems to believe that the truth always resides somewhere in the middle, when, in fact, it doesn't. It very rarely does. Most issues are pretty much black and white these days, and when you try to be a pussy about it and sound off from the middle ground between perfectly reasonable and batshit stupid, you end up sounding perfectly stupid.
So, pro-choice people are like, well, it's not a life yet. It's not a baby yet. If you do, I don't know what they say. Before you do it the first Thursday or the last Tuesday, you spin around one time. They dance between the raindrops.
Yeah, Bill doesn't understand how to work a calendar, so you can't have an abortion procedure.
It's not a baby yet. That's what they say, which may or may not be true. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I'll tell you, my gut tells me that doesn't make sense.
His gut.
It's not a baby yet. That would be like if I was making a cake and I poured some batter in a pan and I put it in the oven, and then 5 minutes later you came by and you grabbed the pan, you threw it across the floor, and I went, what the fuck? You just ruined my birthday cake. And then you were like, well, that wasn't a cake yet. It's like, well, it would have been.
Okay, but would have been isn't is. A glass of ice is not scotch on the rocks. A car engine is not an engine. It's batter. It's not a cake. It's definitely not a birthday cake. You're talking about a soul. And the same argument could be made about shooting your load into a condom. I wonder if Bill Burr ever contemplated the soul of the bag of cum that he dropped into the toilet once a week. That's metaphysical doggerel. Bad hippie poetry. You, Bill Burr, may choose to buy an extra plane ticket for the month-old goo inside of your wife's stomach. That's your right. But we don't base laws on bad poetry. And all this is moot anyways. This isn't a debate. After post-Roe, people like you don't have the privilege of debating when life begins, because now the debate is about whether or not a woman carrying a 15-week-old fetus that doesn't have a skull should be forced to give birth to a dead baby. This is about whether or not a woman should be forced to carry a dead fetus inside of her body. Whether or not women with miscarriages should risk infection and death from infection. How many states do they have to travel to save their own life? This is about 10-year-old girls who are being forced to make babies. So, no, this is not about whether or not batter is a cake, or if a cake is a birthday cake, or if a birthday cake is a baby. This is about the cake catching on fire inside of the oven and whether or not I have the right to use a fire extinguisher to put it out. Or should I move the oven to a different house? Or should we just let the house burn down? It's a stupid analogy. And stop it with this, I'm pro-choice, but that's definitely killing a baby nonsense. You're anti-abortion. You just don't want your wife to be mad at you about it.